Many men believe that female pleasure is an unsolvable mystery, almost like a secret code locked away. Others think it's all about strength, stamina, or intense movements. But the truth, confirmed by both science and clinical experience, is that female pleasure follows a different, often more sophisticated logic. After 40, the man who truly stands out in intimacy isn't the youngest, the fastest, or the strongest. It's the one who learns what psychologist David Schnarch once called erotic intelligence, the ability to understand that desire doesn't come only from mechanics, but from the mind, the body, and the way both are stimulated together. That intelligence is what separates ordinary encounters from unforgettable ones. Today, I'll reveal 3 little-known techniques, rooted in science, real clinical cases, and even stories shared in intimacy forums, that show how small details can completely transform a couple's sex life. These techniques don't require anything extraordinary, but they do require sensitivity, attention, and a willingness to see sex as an integrated experience. Hello, I'm Emily Carter, a urologist and sexologist with more than 20 years of experience helping men regain confidence, vitality, and pleasure. Here on this channel, I talk about men's health and intimacy without taboos, always with a scientific foundation. And if you're new here, join our community by subscribing and turning on notifications. Every week, I bring you practical strategies to boost your energy, your confidence, and your intimacy naturally. Before we dive into the 3 techniques, we need to break a very common misconception. Female pleasure is not a switch you turn on with repetitive movements, nor a timer that depends only on how long you last. Ian Kerner, in his book She Comes First, shows that a woman's body responds in far more complex ways because female arousal is at once physical, emotional, and psychological. When a man learns to stimulate all 3 of these pathways in harmony, he unlocks levels of pleasure that go far beyond mechanical performance. Pleasure doesn't live only in the body. It is built in the mind, reinforced through touch, and multiplied by emotion. That is exactly what we're going to explore today. The first secret technique that drives women wild in bed is called the neurosensory contrast game. The human body is like an orchestra of sensations, and in women, this orchestra responds even more intensely to contrast. Neuroscience research shows that the brain pays closer attention when stimuli change in intensity, temperature, or texture. This is called the principle of contrast. When you alternate heat and cold, softness and firmness, silence and whisper, you activate different groups of nerve receptors and keep her erotic system in a state of surprise and expectation. It's a secret many men overlook, yet it can make the experience unforgettable. Mantak Chia, in his studies on sexual energy, describes these contrasts as multiple activation channels, waking dormant regions of the body and enhancing the circulation of erotic energy. In practice, the neurosensory contrast game can be applied in simple yet elegant ways. You can bring your lips close and let warm breath touch her skin, then follow it with the cool glide of an ice cube wrapped in soft fabric. You can use just the fingertips and then switch to the full palm, alternating between subtle and firm. Or you can create intentional silence, pause all sound, and then surprise her with a short whisper directly in her ear. These contrasts keep her mind alert because the unexpected sparks adrenaline, and adrenaline amplifies sexual response. John, 55, and his wife Sarah, 52, had been married for 23 years. Sarah was going through menopause and reported a loss of sensitivity and even discomfort during intimacy. During a consultation, I suggested that John begin exploring sensory contrasts gradually, starting with lighter touches alternated with firmer ones. Over time, he introduced temperature variations, always respecting her comfort zone. Because of the natural decrease in lubrication and the drop in libido many women face during menopause, I also recommended safe, natural resources to help restore vitality. One of my key suggestions was a natural aphrodisiac gel, formulated to stimulate blood circulation, improve lubrication, and intensify arousal, often resulting in stronger, more satisfying orgasms. The result was remarkable. Sarah returned to my office, emotional, saying that for the first time after turning 50, she had multiple orgasms. In her words, "I thought this phase of my life was over, but it felt like my body was rediscovering its own sensitivity." To sum it up, choose one contrast at a time, give her body enough space to respond, watch closely for reactions, and adjust intensity. Remember, the secret isn't in exaggeration, but in subtlety. When you learn how to explore temperature, pressure, and sound, paired with a good stimulating gel, you realize that female pleasure is not a mystery at all, but science applied with sensitivity. The gel I recommended to this couple, and that I still recommend today to patients who want to naturally enhance sensory response, is available for you to check out in the description of this video. If you're curious, just click the link and explore the details safely. But pleasure doesn't depend only on strong contrasts. There is also a subtle detail that neuroscience calls post-stimulus, a principle that can transform a single moment into a series of waves. I call this technique the echo effect. Neuroscience has already shown that after an intense stimulus, the female brain keeps processing signals of pleasure for several seconds, even if touch or movement slows down. The mistake many men make is stopping abruptly, as if turning off a switch. But when you simply slow down, keeping lighter contact and prolonging the experience, pleasure doesn't just continue, it multiplies in successive waves. In practice, this means the echo effect should not be limited to a simple slowed-down movement, but instead include 3 complementary pillars. The first pillar is prolonged touch. Here, you alternate between firmer caresses and lighter strokes, always maintaining a sense of continuity that her body recognizes as flow rather than interruption. Think of it like the ocean. A wave never disappears abruptly. It recedes slowly before returning even stronger. The second pillar is connected breathing. When you slow the rhythm and bring your body closer, syncing your breath with hers amplifies the effect. The female brain associates this synchronization with safety and emotional bonding. Many of my patients report that when they practice this, their partners describe feeling invisible waves that deepen pleasure. The third pillar is the sensory environment. Ian Kerner has already highlighted how the female brain responds intensely to multisensory stimulation. So while you slow down, you can add elements that extend arousal, soft music that flows with the rhythm, a gentle whisper at the right moment, or even the warmth of your breath shifting the temperature of the air against her skin. These details make her brain perceive the experience as ongoing, even when direct physical contact lessens. I recall a patient named Richard, 49, whose wife often described a sharp drop-off after moments of higher intensity. I suggested he expand the echo effect more fully. As he slowed down, he should keep his hands in constant contact, use affirming words in her ear, and sync his breathing with hers. When he returned, Richard reported that his wife not only experienced multiple orgasms, but said it felt like pleasure spreading throughout her body, even when he was barely touching her. So the echo effect goes far beyond simply slowing down. It can be refined through sensory continuity. Never break contact completely. Even the lightest touch keeps the pleasure line alive. Guided breathing. Align your breath with hers, expanding connection and extending arousal in the brain. Environment as an extension of the body. Use music, voice, and temperature to carry the echo forward. Positive, subtle words, soft affirmations create mental waves of pleasure that mirror the physical ones. This combination transforms the echo effect into a true erotic ritual, where every detail is carefully designed to prolong and multiply sensations. And here's a special gift for you. In the description of this video, I've prepared a free mini manual with the complete step-by-step guide for mastering the echo effect, along with the other techniques we're covering today. Inside, I explain clearly how to apply each detail at the right moment. So you don't just understand the theory, you'll know exactly how to put it into practice. You can revisit it anytime, apply it with confidence, and discover how small changes can deliver extraordinary results in your intimate life. But none of this works fully if a woman doesn't feel confident about her own image. That's where the third technique comes in, the erotic mirror. This one doesn't act only on her body, but also on how she perceives herself. Many women carry a silent enemy into intimacy, self-criticism. They're not only worried about pleasure, but about how their body looks, if their stomach shows, if their breasts have changed, if they're truly attractive. Sexual psychology has already shown that the way a woman sees herself during sex is one of the decisive factors for arousal. David Schnarch, one of the greatest names in sex therapy, described this as reflected intimacy, the feeling of seeing yourself through your partner's eyes. When a woman clearly perceives that her partner desires her and validates her image, she lets go without holding back. This is the essence of the erotic mirror. And it's not only about placing a mirror in the bedroom, though that can be a powerful tool. The real mirror is direct eye contact and affirming words that return to her a version of herself more positive than the one insecurity creates. When a man looks her in the eyes and says, "You look beautiful like this. I love seeing your body this way," her brain registers that validation as erotic stimulus. It's as if each word switches off self-criticism and switches on confidence. I remember a couple I worked with years ago, David, 51, and his wife, Jennifer. They had been married for 12 years, but Jennifer had never experienced a full orgasm. In our sessions, she admitted something very painful. She avoided letting go because she couldn't stand her own image. She felt unattractive, ugly. I suggested a simple yet transformative exercise. Place a full-length mirror in the bedroom, soften the lighting, and during intimacy, reinforce with positive, sincere phrases. In practice, you can apply the erotic mirror in 3 ways. The first is with the physical mirror. Position it so it flatters her body, never in an invasive or uncomfortable way. The second is through the eyes. Maintaining eye contact during peaks of pleasure builds a psychological bridge that multiplies arousal. And the third is through words. Small affirmations spoken at the right time can replace insecurity with desire. This isn't empty flattery. It's erotic validation because it comes paired with touch, gaze, and presence. A few weeks later, David and his wife returned to my office in tears of joy. Jennifer told me that for the first time, she was able to let go completely, and the orgasm was so intense, she cried in relief afterward. What changed wasn't her body, but the reflection she now saw through the eyes of the man who loved her. The erotic mirror shows that pleasure isn't only about what you do with her body, but how you help shape the image she holds of herself. When a woman feels desired, validated, and beautiful in her own eyes, pleasure becomes inevitable. Let's recap the 3 techniques that can transform your intimate life. First, the neurosensory contrast game, which uses shifts in temperature, pressure, and sound to awaken different receptors in the female body and reignite sensitivity. Next, the echo effect, which shows how slowing down instead of stopping creates continuous waves of pleasure, like musical notes that keep resonating even after the last chord. And finally, the erotic mirror, which helps her see herself through your eyes, replacing insecurity with desire and confidence. These 3 practices reveal one essential truth. Female pleasure is not about force, not about speed, and not a mystery. It is science applied with sensitivity and erotic intelligence. The man who learns to stimulate not only his partner's body, but also her mind and self-image moves beyond ordinary encounters and becomes unforgettable. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 3 techniques surprised you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because your experience can inspire other men who are also looking for a deeper and more satisfying intimate life. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because every week I bring you new content on men's health, vitality, and mature intimacy. And as a way to complement what you learned today, I've prepared a free mini manual with the step-by-step guide to all 3 techniques. The link is in the description. This way, you can review everything at your own pace and put it into practice with confidence. And for couples who want to take the contrasts even further and enhance the body's natural response, I've also left in the description a link to Vigorel, a natural, intimate gel that stimulates circulation and increases sensitivity. And remember this important truth: real pleasure is never forced. It is built together with trust, connection, and presence. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.